social and community news tonight. Akungba community hails Governor Ayedatiwa for ending decades-long ownership disputes as new Alale receives staff of office. Naming practices in Nigeria are changing over time. What influenced the shift from traditional to Western names in Nigeria? Is it globalization, religion, or colonialism? Tonight, we find out how these changes in cultural values or identity reflect in naming choices. A thankful heart full of hope and gratitude for the journey so far and a fresh start. This is the story of Mr. Edward Ugumola after 32 years of dedicated service and transition into retirement. Good evening and welcome to Social and Community News, where we bring you stories that highlight the heart of our communities, the lives we celebrate, and the values that bind us together. My name is Omoshidiola Adesoye, and tonight we begin with moments of celebration and culture as Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa presented staff of office and instruments of appointment to Oba Isiaka Oseni Adu as the new Alale of Akungba Akoko after years of protracted legal battles and decades of chieftaincy disputes. Governor Ayedatiwa, while performing the ceremony at the University Town, said the recognition of Oba Adu was the continuation of a long-drawn struggle for justice and the restoration of peace in the community. The governor also stressed that government remains neutral in all chieftaincy matters. Government House correspondent from Harvard for the complete story.
The joy of the people of Akungba Akoko in Akoko Southwest Local Government area of Ondo State was evident as the state government ended years of protracted legal battles and decades of chieftaincy disputes with the approval of the appointment of Oba Isiaka Oseni Adu as the new Alale. This ceremony, the official presentation of staff of office and instrument of appointment to the new monarch by Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, was symbolic. Sons and daughters of the community gathered in jubilant mood to welcome the governor. The chairman of the council area, Ayo Ajana, who thanked the governor for restoring peace to the community and approving several landmark projects in the area as the dawn of a new threshold.
The construction of dual carriage road from Akungba to Ikari Akoko, the road has already been flagged off and work has commenced. Your Excellency, permit me to reinforce my earlier plea that this iconic project terminates at Ikari Junction in Owo.
The State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Amidu Takuro, commended the governor's visionary leadership and respect for due process in resolving the age-long tussle.
The state government, through the State Executive Council, on 30th July 2025, approved the appointment of Oba Isiaka Oseni Adu as the new Alale of Akungba Akoko. Having confirmed that the process which produced him was in line with the Supreme Court judgment which affirmed him his candidacy as the Alale of Akungba.
Governor Ayedatiwa, who congratulated the new monarch and people of the community, said the recognition of the new monarch was the culmination of a long-drawn struggle for justice and the restoration of peace in the community. Ayedatiwa, who explained that although it was the turn of the Olugbade ruling house to produce the next monarch following the passing of Obasanjo Adeyeye in March 2025, noted that government had to act in line with existing court rulings that validated the claims of the new king.
The state government was fully abreast of the outcomes of the various court processes which invalidated the reign of the erstwhile late Oba Adeyeye Sunday Adimo, who, however, reigned till he joined his ancestors on the 3rd day of March 2025. Given this scenario, it is only logical and fair to allow His Royal Majesty Oba Isiaka Hussaini Adu, who obtained favorable judgment at the levels from the High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, to enjoy the benefits of his legal victory in the best interest of fair play, equity, justice, and peace of Akuba. I therefore like to use this medium to appeal to the Olugade ruling house to show understanding with the state government on this decision.
The governor highlighted his administration's developmental strides in the region, including the reconstruction of the Akungba-Ikare Road into a dual carriageway and flood mitigation measures. He restated government's directive that roadside traders along the road should move to the Atiba market for safety reasons.
The security of the inhabitants of this state in general remains the topmost priority of our administration. While we will continue to promote and enhance the position of our traditional rulers, it is also expected that government efforts will be reciprocated.
The governor warned against any unnecessary expansionist tendencies in the state by royal fathers. Responding, Oba Isiaka Hussaini expressed deep gratitude to God and appreciation to the state government for making his installation possible. The monarch pledged to prioritize unity and development of the community in his reign, while joining hands with the state government to ensure all-round peace, growth, and development. From Akungba Akoko, Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
You're likely familiar with boli, roasted plantain, ishu sisu, roasted yam, and agbado sisu, roasted corn, popular street food found across Nigeria. These traditional staples are common sights on many roadsides, but in some communities, their commercial sales is strictly forbidden. In Obaile, a town in Akure North local government area of Ondo State, known for cultivating crops like yam, plantain, and corn, you would find roasted version of these crops sold openly. So, if you are considering starting a street food business in Obaile, Joy Pius's report from the community may guide your decision as it reveals why this ancient tradition persists. The report.
Roasted yam, plantain, and corn are daily staples for commuters to grab and enjoy on the go, driving along major highways and streets in Ondo State. This low capital but highly patronized business thrives. 9 kilometers from Akure, the state's capital, lies Obaile, located in Akure North local government. Farming is a cornerstone of the local economy, with yam, corn, and plantain widely cultivated. Yet, these crops are at the heart of a decades-old taboo. In Obaile, selling roasted yam, corn, or plantain in public is strictly forbidden, not by law, but by a deep-rooted cultural tradition.
There was a day I wanted to buy roasted corn and even this roasted banana, plantain, and they were telling me that it is their reward, it is their abomination. Even people that roast corn, they hide and roast it in their shop. They don't roast it to sell. For you to see common yam by the roadside to buy in this Obaile, you cannot see. I always wonder why everything roasted, is an abomination in Obaile. Maybe the elderly ones that had grown up with, that grew up in this land, will be able to explain and give the historical background of why people cannot buy roasted corn, roasted yam, roasted banana.
At the palace of the Oloba of Obaile, we spoke with the Elemo, who explained the origins and significance of this taboo.
Kì í ṣe torí àìsàn. Tá a bá ṣe, ó lè jẹ́ pé bí àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké wọ́n lè ní ebi muscles kí àwọn àìsàn kéékèèké tó lè affect àwọn nítorí yẹn. Mo rò pé wọ́n ti ṣe in olden days ó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti rí pé ó ní effect. Àwọn bàbá wa ní nǹkan àkójẹ ní ìwọ ní wọ́n ṣe. Torí a máa notice pé tí ìwé bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀, a máa rí sign.
Despite Obaile's proximity to Akure, where roasted crops are freely sold, this prohibition remains steadfast.
Ẹ̀ka ní ìyálọ́jà, ìrọ́jà náà ti máa sábà ṣe nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn obìnrin ló dẹ̀ ń ṣe. So by this, a ní ìyálọ́jà tó wà ní ọjà tí mo máa sọ fún àwọn obìnrin pé ilé ẹ ṣe, ilé ẹ má ṣe, so that kí ó má bàa affect wọn náà.
Out of curiosity, we approached this woman in her 50s who has been selling boiled corn on the streets for over 20 years. In all that time, she has never seen roasted corn, yam or plantain sold publicly.
So, mo ń ṣe àgbàdo ni mo lọ bá wọn, wọ́n ní wọn ò gbà kán sun àgbàdo, wọ́n ní àfi ká bá máa ṣe. So, mo dẹ̀ ń ṣe, àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ ń rà. Mi ò mọ̀dí torí mo gbọ́njú mọ́ lọ́wọ́ òbí mi ni. Mo gbọ́njú mọ̀ pé wọn kì í sun àgbàdo ni. Àti iṣu àti ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ ẹnì kan wọn kì í sun tà lọ́ba ilé, bẹ̀tẹ̀ lè ṣe kẹta.
Interestingly, this taboo applies only to commercial sales in public spaces. Residents are free to roast and enjoy these foods within the privacy of their homes. So, for lovers of roasted yam, corn or plantain planning to visit Obaile, be prepared to enjoy these edibles behind closed doors. Joy Pius for OSRC Social and Community News.
It's fascinating how cultural traditions like Obaile's taboo on selling roasted crops in public can shape everyday life, even in the face of modern street food trends. It's a powerful reminder of how deeply rooted customs continue to influence local economies and food culture. You're watching Social and Community News on OSRC TV. Still ahead, more stories that reflect the strengths and tradition and the bonds that defines our communities. Stay with us.
On the 11th of November, I went to the Nigerian High Commission to sort out my passport. I did my biometrics and everything. And guess what? 48 hours later, at 6 minutes past 11 on the 13th of November, I have one passport.
Tireless effort on renovation and rejigging the Ministry of Interior passports issuance lessen the very frustration of Nigerian homes and abroad on the time that has been taken. You've created a change in the dynamic and the game.
Powered by Grassroots Movement for Tinubu GMT, Ondo State Chapter, GMT, in God we trust.
Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel at OSRC TV Ondo. Have you ever wondered why so many Nigerian parents now give their children English names instead of names in their native languages? What some see as a sign of modernization, others view it as a slow fading of cultural identity. More parents today lean towards foreign names, while indigenous names, once a source of pride, are quietly taking a backseat. So, are we preserving our heritage or slowly losing it in a bid to belong to a global world? For social and community news, OSRC's Blessing Obi explores the story behind this changing tradition and what it means for the future of Nigeria's culture.
Across the world, names are more than just words. They tell stories, carry history, and reflect values. In Nigeria, our names are part of who we are, from the rhythm sounds of Yoruba names to the deep meanings in Igbo and Hausa names. Every name speaks of family, faith, and hope. But today, things are changing. Many parents now prefer English or westernized names for their children. Names like Ngozi, Oluwafemi, and Ibrahim are slowly giving way to alternatives like Grace, Daniel, and Sophia. Why? Some point to globalization, others to lingering shadows of colonization.
Illiteracy, complex, is part of why there's some people, so-called civilization. There's some people want to belong. They have a neighbor, or probably visited a neighbor, or they visited a relative whose family probably reside in another state or another jurisdiction, another zone in the country, or probably it could even be outside. And the next thing they are hearing is Stone, and they want to give their, you're giving birth to a child and you are naming that child Stone. What's the correlation of, Stone, to our culture?
For many, it is about convenience, easier pronunciation in a global space, better acceptance in professional circles. But there is another strong influence, religion. When people convert to Christianity or Islam, they often take on new names to reflect their faith. A Yoruba man once called Adegboyega becomes Paul after baptism. An Igbo woman named Chinozo adopts Mary, and someone formerly known as Sadiu might become John. Even within Yoruba names, we see subtle changes. Names originally tied to traditional deities like Ogumodede are now transformed into Oluwamodede, and Ifaleimo becomes Oluwaleimo, replacing the names of indigenous gods with references to the Christian God. For many, these changes signify spiritual rebirth, but for others, they represent a gradual departure from ancestral identity.
The name of a person is part of his culture, and the moment you begin to do away with whatever name you are called from birth or your ancestral name, you are indirectly or directly doing away with your culture. And it's just too bad that our society is embracing that kind of idea, dropping our birth name for some other foreign names.
Some people, they have their full name as native, and some, they bear English name. One of my name is Johnson. I gave my children English name also, though derived from Bible. We are still saying the same thing, whether English or Yoruba. Take for instance, when you say praise, you can actually say it has Yoruba version, it has Hausa version, so it depends on the way you look at it.
Names tell stories. They hold the essence of beginnings. When they disappear, so do pieces of identity.
Tradition is embedded in what our names are. In Yoruba land, it is cultural that they will say you look around you before you decide what name to give to your child. It implies that the name carries a lot of responsibility.
I believe that a name has an effect or influence, on, a child growing up. Some tribes in Nigeria that when they give birth, they give that their native, their native names. They don't sacrifice it.
And it is not just names. In many homes, English dominates conversations, while indigenous languages struggle to survive. Still, not all hope is lost. A growing number of parents are proudly returning to cultural roots, choosing native names and teaching local languages. It is a quiet but powerful way of saying our identity matters. The revival of indigenous names is more than a trend, it is an act of cultural pride. Because when we name our children after our heritage, we pass on more than a name. We pass on a story, a legacy, a piece of who we are. Blessing Obe for Osrc Social and Community News.
A name is more than just a label, it's a legacy. As Nigeria navigates modernity, the question remains, we will hold on to our roots or let them slip away in the tide of change. Only time will tell. My own name is Omoshiliola Iliola Yemi Ajoke. What about you? For every journey, there is a destination, and for Mr. Edward Ogumola, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Lands and Housing, that destination is a well-earned rest after decades of dedicated service. His retirement was not just an end, but a thanksgiving, a moment to look back with gratitude and hope for new start. Our correspondent, Abidemi Akuroti, was there.
Retirement is a season that blends reflection with celebration, a time to pause, give thanks, and embrace a new beginning. That was the spirit at the Anglican Church of His Glory, Oda Road, where family, friends, and colleagues gathered to celebrate Mr. Edward Ogumola's remarkable 32-year journey in public service. It was a day that spoke of grace and gratitude. Reverend Canon David Adedoja, in his sermon, reminded the congregation of the power of a thankful act, pointing to the celebrant as a man who lived that principle.
I want to congratulate you for you to attain this height. It is not by your doing, it is not by your mind, it is not by your power. It is the grace of God upon you.
Dignitaries from the Ondo State Public Service added their voices in glowing tributes. Among them, the head of service, Mr. Bayo Philip, who described Ogumola as a dependable and exemplary officer.
Mr. Ogumola, as we all know, is a complete gentleman. He's so contented that in our own little way, we should make today memorable, honoring our retiring peers.
The high point of the day came as music filled the air and the Ogumolas took the dance floor, surrounded by well-wishers sharing in their joy.
The Lord be with you.
Mr. Ogumola's legacy transcends beyond his office. At home, his children sees him as an enduring source of guidance and inspiration.
He's kind and he's a very gentle soul. He's well coordinated and organized when it comes to his work, like dedicated to his work and every other thing.
Very quiet, very quiet, unassuming. The way you see him is the way he relates with people. And whatever he tells you, take it for him. Very intelligent, even in the family. And that is what he brought to us.
Expressing his gratitude, the celebrant alongside his wife Justina shared their excitement for the road ahead, a future of peace, purpose and possibilities.
Service was full of slippery terrain,
very sleepy. It's only God. And need somebody to how to the service and that damage.
With the event's conclusion, a clear message emerged. Retirement is not a farewell, it is a start of a new possibilities, allowing Mr. Ogumola to enjoy the fruits of his labor and continue making a lasting impact. Abidemi Akinrotoye for Osrc Social and Community News.
A fitting celebration for a man who gave his all in service. We wish Mr. Ogumola a peaceful and fulfilling retirement. The passing of a loved one often draws hearts together in shared grief and cherished moments. Such was the case of Madam Alabamiri as family, friends and well-wishers gathered at Enyapata Okearo to celebrate the life of a late Madam Alabamiri Omishore, who departed this world on August 23, 2025. Osrc Sulani Femi Abayomi covered for social and community news.
It was a day of mixed emotions as sorrow met gratitude for a life that inspired so many. At 87, Madam Alabamiri Omishore Ne Fayemi left behind the legacy steeped in faith, love and selflessness. The burial service at our Enyapata residence was solemn but uplifting, with hymns, prayers and glowing tributes that painted the picture of a matriarch whose influence will linger for generations. The officiating minister described her as a woman of unwavering faith and strong values, a beacon of light in her family and the community.
People should be living as the woman lives when he was alive. After your departure, people will talk about you. Then, in the presence of the Lord, what will God talk about you?
In an emotional tribute, Mr. Anthony Arifalo spoke of her as a pillar of strength and love, whose sacrifices shaped the lives of our children and grandchildren.
Mama is known as no dull moment woman. She loves cracking jokes with whoever she's with. She likes making things lively. She doesn't discriminate. She will tell you that if you don't play with the young, so the old you may not see to play with. So she's generous and kind.
Our children recalled her as cheerful and deeply devoted to God.
She was a loving mother, at least that took care of all her children. She was the one that brought every one of us up to the glory of God, to the level we have. She a jovial person, pleasant person to relate with.
Tí má dẹ̀ wo àwòkọ́ṣe màmá nígbà tí màmá wà láyé, ó jẹ́ ẹni tó lawọ́ sí. Kò sóhun kan tí màmá ò lè fi tọrẹ fún yàn, àfi kí màmá má gbọ́ nìkan.
Màmá onínúure ni o. A dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run pé àwa la gbẹ̀yìn ìyá wa. Ìyá yóò dẹ̀ fọwọ́ gbọ́mọ sìn.
Despite being from a Muslim background, she embraced Christianity wholeheartedly and raised her family in that faith. They remembered her for her unbiased love, nurturing spirit and resilience.
She is the source of virtually everything in my life. My Christianity, because I was born a Muslim, but my conversion to Christianity is not far from her.
She's a mother indeed. She brought us all well up. Most of us are graduates. Almost all our children, we're all graduates. Put us in the way of the Lord. I'm a clergy.
he brought me into the church.
The occasion brought together dignitaries, colleagues, and friends, all united in honoring her memory and comforting the grieving family.
The message from the DG to the entire family is that we wish the entire family that the solace to carry the loss of that grandman. And I want to believe by the grace of God, Engineer Rupalo, as the only person that is marrying the only daughter there, has a great role to play. And I want to believe that the Lord would also approve him.
Survived by children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, Madam Alaba Omishore was finally laid to rest with heartfelt prayers for internal peace. Oluwanifemi Abayomi, OSRC News.
Yes, what a remarkable life, well lived. We pray that God Almighty will grant Madam Omishore peaceful rest. And that's it on Social and Community News tonight. A reminder that behind every headline is a human story, a shared culture, and a community that cares. Thank you so much for staying with us.